Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Give it just a minute here to make sure everybody's admitted and in. All right. Well, thanks for joining, everyone, and I'm glad you're here. My name is Sean Maskell. I'm the president of Cologix Canada. Hopefully, you made your way to the right session and you're interested to learn a little bit more about what to look for when selecting a data center. I'm going to run through a bit of a presentation. We're going to have some slides, but a 10-minute talk track. And then I'm going to try to see if I can share my 25 years of experience with you, hopefully keeping it only to about 10 minutes. I know that's probably sad, but true. 25 years of blood, sweat, and tears in this industry, reduced down to just to 10 minutes, but totally doable. There's not too much up here, actually. This picture kind of reminds me of my hair in the morning, by the way, but let's jump in and I can share everything I know on selecting the perfect data center for your mission critical and IT environments. So where to start? Reliability, scalability, interconnection, network solutions, all super important. But let's start with the biggest piece of advice I can share. You need to do what's right for your business. I know that sounds simple, but you're solving for today's problems only. You're going to have lots of choice. But what happens with that short-sighted view? You're just only going to be adequate for day one deployments. It's not going to be good for the long term. So to truly select the data center partner for your business, let's look further out. What's next? How long do you want this decision to yield great results? This is the difficult part of our business. It's going to adapt, it's going to change, and the selection needs to be laser focused for your business plan and interconnection needs. Will the critical infrastructure be able to adapt, be deployed, be redeployed and reconfigured to ensure a great downstream customer experience? You can't approach this one flat-footed. This strategy needs to be nimble, it needs to change, and it needs to flow, adapt, and the right data center will brace and assist in this change. So let's break this down. The site selection criteria I like to pull apart into 4 pillars. Each of these pillars are equally important. Pillars: space, critical infrastructure, interconnection, and people. So let's start with space. Does the facility offer locations that attract and can retain hyperscale computing and strategic growth at the edge? Are the facilities constructed to withstand all local environmental conditions and hazards? Does the space have adequate expansion opportunities to remain ahead of your business growth and change? Select the right partner that has defined plans and strategies to expand their footprints, ensuring the longest possible runway for your business to continue to grow. Customizable and flexible space options. Each deployment can be very unique, and we're seeing a trend right now where customers are using taller, more dense cabinets, and these deployments reduce inefficient sprawl within the DC. This deployment methodology can reduce your operating costs, and your selection criteria should take this into consideration. Does the facility offer the highest level of security to protect the business, protect the facility, its critical networks and environments? Most importantly, your livelihood remains in these facilities. As your business attracts new clients, they will each bring with them some unique protection requirements, such as customized access requests, reporting, certification requirements, and the need for trusted, vetted, and security cleared personnel. So don't forget to check this box during your selection process. I think another important factor not to be overlooked when it comes to space, and it fits with the old saying, location, location, location. Is the facility or the facilities you're looking at strategically located at the edge? This will bring enterprises and their applications to the networks versus the outdated model, which brings the network to the enterprise. Does the provider have multiple geodiverse strategic locations? This is going to enable low latency networks, diverse interconnection, and data sovereign ties to deliver services to the end users. Will the business have plans for continuity and disaster recovery strategies and requirements? If so, this is definitely going to be a need. So when it comes to space, location and flexibility are key. Don't get locked into a round hole, round peg design. Demand the flexibility because you'll be bringing the square for sure. Next pillar will be critical infrastructure. Does the facility have reliable and redundant cooling systems in place? The common message we continue to talk about. Will they and can they scale as your business grows? So as densities continue to increase within the enterprise and hyperscale deployments, heat rejection strategies need to be effective and adequate. Do the power requirements match the cooling needs? And is this also going to be scalable? Can you deploy minimum commitments on initial deployments and then easily provision additional power through the use of software-defined thresholds, pre-provisioned infrastructure to ensure quick and efficient deployments to match those needs? Will power systems be able to accommodate the incremental needs for the long term? And not just for today, but adequately accommodate the next refresh or change in your business plan as your clients continue to drive that pace of play. Does the data center implement and follow industry best practices for critical infrastructure, maintenance? Are they a leader in innovation? Is there a focus on the environment to implement green solutions to minimize the facility's carbon footprint? And while doing all that, can you have the confidence of 100% uptime all the time? Next, let's talk about the interconnection. Interconnection, virtualization, cloud computing, they've all transformed the importance of the data center. Ensure the facility moves your business to the internet's edge and that you're strategically co-located in a place that allows your business to grow. You want to be in control of your own network strategy. So by locating within carrier hotel or annex locations, you're enabling control to drive your content effectively to your customers while leveraging the carrier community to reduce those costs. Does the facility have direct access to multi-private and public clouds? Ensure that you select facilities that can allow for cloud adjacency to facilitate smooth travels during your cloud journey. Last point on interconnection, I think this one's a game changer. It's new to the industry, but just can't be overlooked. Does the facility offer a software-defined interconnection platform, such as what we have at the Cologix Access Marketplace? These platforms offer both cloud on-ramp solutions and private interconnection built on fast, reliable, scalable platforms for chosen service providers, and these are all managed through one simplified portal. Next, let's talk about the people. I've been doing this for a long time, and the company and the people, they should make all the difference. Are you in the right spot with the right partners, in the right locations? Are they focused on network neutral interconnection and co-location that delivers the best results to its customers? Are they committed to supporting and earning your business every day? Are local teams ready to rapidly respond to customers' needs? We've got stringent SLAs, maintenance standards to provide simple, hassle-free user experience. Will the data center provider build a culture that promotes a customer-first mindset? A culture that believes its customer success is directly connected to its own? Will you be part of a client ecosystem that promotes interaction and sharing of its client's strengths, its core competencies with one another to increase the value for your business and elevated customer experience? So, what do we learn? Quick recap on those 4 pillars. And as you develop and measure your site selection criteria, does the data center meet today's business challenges? Will the facility keep pace with your growth, or better yet, remain one step ahead of where you want to be? Elevate and be confident that each of your 4 pillars, space, infrastructure, interconnection, and the people, are all equally aligned, and that your selection site can support the ever-increasing demand and weight of your business. So that's what I had prepared for you today on the slides. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We've got some time now. I'm open to questions, any sort of collaboration that you'd like to talk to about the site selection process. I think Linda's going to help me out with the questions.
Yes. So the first question is going to be, how important is automation going to be in the near future?
I think it's going to be extremely important. I think that's going to continue to grow. I mean, we're already seeing that through, products such as Cologix Access Marketplace. We're using, some software to find points when it comes to power and how we can scale that. But I continue to keep seeing that growing into the future. So I think that type of automation is going to touch all aspects of our business over the next few years.
Great. There's another one here. How important is it to have on-ramps near my data? Key question.
Yeah, awesome, for sure. I think the cloud on-ramps are, again, I think I said it in the presentation, but they're a game changer. As businesses, for the most part, every business is looking at some component of cloud today. Having those on-ramps directly in the facilities that you locate with, one, it's going to allow you to start that transition into the cloud. It's going to allow you to leverage multiple clouds provided they're in those facilities, such as what we have. And I think it's going to reduce the latency on those connections. It should reduce cost, and it's definitely going to increase security.
Great, thanks. Okay, the next question that's in the chat is, what sort of flexibility does Cologix exhibit when solutioning a colo requirement?
Again, ultimate flexibility. I'd love to say every client, we're going to build a round hole and that round peg's coming, but I guarantee we get the square. So the flexibility is always around. Do you need to bring your own cabinets? Will they be pre-populated? Can you use our existing on-site infrastructure? Do we need to customize cages with privacy panels, security requirements? We're seeing a lot of requests lately for reporting. So that means who's accessed the data center, who's accessed our equipment, and that all helps to dovetail back to multiple certifications that are required or security requirements.
That leads into a follow-up question then. Have you noticed a trend, and maybe it's because of the last year, when you're talking about people requiring, reports on security, has that been a new shift? Is that becoming a norm standard given, the changes that we've seen in our ecosystems due to COVID?
Yeah, well, I think one, we've been seeing this shift for tighter requirements around security. So who's accessing the data center, but more importantly, how do we report on who's coming into the data center and what are they doing? But I think also during COVID, our data centers have been locked down. Although you still have access to your equipment, you need to schedule that in advance. You need to have the right paperwork in place. You need to follow the COVID protocols. Have you been traveling? Have you been diagnosed, et cetera? So you need facilities, again, that can work with you to accommodate those last minute requests. We know that a technician is going to have to show up that Sunday morning at 2 a.m. because that's always when things go wrong. So you need a provider that can be ultimately flexible to promote all of that.
Great. Thanks, Sean. The next question here on the runway is, what is important to know about power redundancy and then the right backup equipment?
For sure. I think what's important to know about power redundancy is without it, it goes out, you're in big trouble. That would be the first thing I would mention. But look, at power redundancy is ultra important, and it's something that we put a huge focus on. How do we build sites that can provide the ultimate confidence for our customers? And when things do go wrong, and they will, what is our mean time to repair? Can we shorten that window? Can we bring those services back online faster? So if you have protection on your power and one side goes down, what's ultra important at that point is how fast can you fix it and how fast do you get it back online? I often say to people, it's like being on a plane with two engines. There's your redundancy. One of those engine goes out, everybody's cheering that we're going to be okay. That's the time I really start to panic. You know why? Because we're down to one. That's your critical moment. So let's get the plane on the ground quickly. Let's fix the engine. And that's sort of the thought process we go through when we think about how we build redundancy into our infrastructure, not just power, but within cooling, power, and some of the security for our spaces.
Is there anything particularly notable you'd like to share about power cooling backup? That might be something that is a factor when selecting a data center. Because it varies across the board.
Yeah, it does. I think when you're thinking about cooling and you're thinking about power backup, ask some of the tough questions with the provider. I think when you go through for a tour with most providers, you're going to be able to see UPSs, you're going to be able to see multiple coolers and chillers on the floor. But I think really dig deep and ask that provider to pull the curtain back. You know, we often show our spaces when folks tour the Cologix data center and like, wow, these mechanical rooms, the power rooms, floors are spotless, diamond plating on the wall. And that's because we want to be able to show what's involved in those systems. And we want to be able to educate our customers and our prospects on what's important. We're proud of what we've built. We're proud of the redundancy, not just from what you can see, but what's on the back end. How is our staff trained to react to a problem? How are we bringing in fuel from multiple sources across multiple different cities to ensure that we can get that back? So there's a lot that needs to go into it. And I often say, you know, a tour with Cologix will arm you to ask all of those questions of other providers. So, you know, come and see us, come first. Let us help arm you with all the tough questions to ask folks out there. And I think you're going to see that not all are created equal. But again, it comes down to the people. I mean, we take our business super seriously. We're very committed to our craft, and we're proud of what we've built.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. I'm just going to note that the session is going to wrap in a couple minutes. So if there's anyone else out there who would like to just unmute themselves, if they want to, we can give you that power and ask a quick question of Sean before we have to close the session to go on to one of our next exciting sessions. If you're more comfortable typing in the chat, you certainly can. Okay, I think we're good then, Sean. We're great.
Okay. Awesome.
Right. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you doing this. And thanks to everyone who came into our session today.
Thanks all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Appreciate your help.